And I just realized I was muted. Oh, what a time it is to be a New York sports fan, particularly if you are New York. Let's get it.
Good morning, New Yorkers. We are looking at another beautiful day here in the city.
New York ain't for everybody. They say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Because this place is not for the faint-hearted. This place is for the risk takers, record breakers, dreamers, and doers. And we don't stop until we reach the top. New York ain't for everybody.
What's up? Yeah, what's up? Got championships coming to Brooklyn!
Because most can't handle the pressure. And if they can't handle the pace, then we in their face. 24/7, we work to be better, to be our best. Become the great test. New York ain't for everybody. Us? Rude? Nah, just determined and strong. We're too aggressive, too loud, too ambitious. But we're built for this city. Because in New York, we move with purpose. Here, we write our own her story. Make no mistake, there's nothing that will stand in our way. They gonna love it here.
Hey, women's basketball fans, welcome to Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans brought to you by Black Rosie Media and hosted by Erica L. Ayala. All right, let's go. All right, I had a few technical difficulties, like I ain't done a live stream a time or two, but welcome to another episode of Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans. And I know I already played y'all a few videos, but now you're going to get a live rendition of the banner raising ceremony. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's go. That's right. The New York Liberty raised their banner, got their freaking big behind rings, all at Barclays Center on Saturday. I was in the building. For y'all who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Erica L. Ayala. I am your host of Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans. Brian Fleurantin should be joining us a little bit later. He's the co-host here. But Black Rosie Media is a platform where we empower Black women and melanated creators in sports media. We get to work with some dope people. We had Georgia Soares work with us over the weekend doing photography. Brian is my co-host and also heads up our newsletter, the Women's Basketball Roundup. We've got Angelica Rodriguez on the back end, does some ice hockey stuff with me in the early days of Black Rosie Media and is doing some editing with us. And then, of course, we have Roberta Rodriguez, who is my co-host of Tempestagi Talk, which will go live on Thursday evening. That is our podcast for Seattle Storm fans. But we're here to talk about the champs. The champs, that's right. WNBA champions, not world champions. Not world champions. You didn't win FIBA. Let's go. Speaking of FIBA, congratulations to Dawn Staley, Tisha Penichero, and the rest of the FIBA Hall of Fame class. That was also over the weekend. It was a busy weekend. I mean, my Mets, they might have gotten spanked, you know, in the bookend of the first installment of the Subway Series, but that's all right. We ride hard either way. But of course, we're going to talk about the weekend. So if y'all didn't know, the New York Liberty, of course, won the 2024 WNBA championship, and it was great to see the team back together. Benaja Laney Hamilton was there. Everybody was there. It was a good time. I love this hoodie. This is my favorite hoodie. This logo, whoever did this logo went off. I know they still had all the Brooklyn stuff up in Barclays, which is kind of odd. Because I'm kind of like, y'all haven't played in a minute. But the subway tile, chef's kiss. I love this hoodie. There's a sticker apparently with this logo. I got to find that sticker, but I had to put on the champions logo because your New York Liberty WNBA champions. That's right. I was in the building for the banner raising ceremony. We got to see again the whole team there. It was beautiful. I mean, here are some of the photos, including we have the photo, of course, that's the thumbnail for today's episode. But let me just pull up. This is. I mean, this is beautiful. This is the WNBA champions. Stewie brought out her family. You can see everyone there. It was amazing. Great atmosphere. I thought it was a very classy ceremony without being too long or overbearing. I love that the New York Liberty also involved the active roster. They brought them out at one point in time. So it was really cool. It was really, really, really cool. The rings. I don't even know if I have enough memory in my freaking computer for these rings. These rings are gaudy AF. They're huge. They're so big that you open them and there are stud rings inside for the players. It's wild. Like New York gonna do it big. And that's exactly what they did. So let me pull this photo up for you. I see the comment about Cheryl. We'll get to that. We'll get to all of that a little bit later. But here's Sabrina Ionescu rocking the ring. Coming up for you right there. I mean, this thing is massive. The ring is so freaking big. I don't even know how, as someone like Stewie, who has multiple championships, how do you wear this and something else? I mean, it's so freaking big. I'm going to read to you while you have Sabrina Ionescu up here. The Liberty's 2024 WNBA championship ring reflects the tenacity, determination, and greatness of this team and of New York City itself. That's what Clara Wusai, governor of the New York Liberty, said. Our goal for the ring's design was to honor our players while also incorporating the spirit of Brooklyn. We were fortunate to find collaborators equally dedicated to the same mission. So they went with Jason of Beverly Hills. We hear him talked about in songs all the time, especially if you grew up in a certain era. If you know, you know. So they have the concrete jungle. The leaf, we just heard Alicia Keys at the top of the leaf represents the Liberty's steadfast spirit. The budding leaf, a reminder that the team's first WNBA championship is just the beginning of the Liberty story. And then they go on to say that they wanted the ring to reflect the story on and off the court. A ring is a tribute to every fan, every player who believed in the New York Liberty and shared in our unforgettable 2024 title run. And it's pretty dope. I mean, Jason is quoted, like, I've always heard of Jason, like I said, in some of the songs that I listened to growing up. But to see it in the flesh is kind of crazy. All right, let me pull up these rings for you. I'm just going to keep the file open here. But these rings are wild and I love it. They absolutely enjoy it. I'm sending one to Cheryl Crybaby Reeves. So you can order a replica. The replicas come in at like 10.9K. It's insane. There's other levels, but you can order a replica if you really want to. Damien, what's up? What's good? What's good? But let me show you what we're working with here. I'm going to share my screen so I can show you the rings. So this is the front of the ring here. Hold on. Let me get this going. You've got, I mean, this is dope. Look at this. It's got New York, the statue, the torch, and these flames are kind of like a basketball right here. I love that. And I mean, there's so much detail. You can kind of start to see the side a little bit in this cut. There you go. That's the concrete. The crack is the concrete, the budding leaf and the leaf there. You can see Liberty at the top, Jay Jones, Jonquel Jones there. This is Jonquel's ring. And then you see we all we need. Those are the stud rings in there. In this capsule, you see the New York Liberty court. I love that. And then you see 2-0, they swept Atlanta. 3-1, took down Las Vegas. Let's go. And then 3-2 against Minnesota. I love the inside of this ring. That might be the dopest part for me. What else we got? What else we got? On the other side, WNBA champions 2024, history made. I mean, these are dope. There goes the fam. I also love, if you see on the in the backdrop here, they had a Statue of Liberty crown, and they put the rings on the crown and then handed them to everyone that got a ring. That was pretty dope. There's the picture again that we saw, Ruby hiding her eyes, which is hilarious. Clara Wusai holding it up like a G. I love it. And then team photo here with the banner. This is the whole team, including the squad for this year. I mean, just a great time. I had a great time. I hope y'all had a good time. For those who were able to watch or were there in person. I didn't see, Amir put me on in Slack. I didn't realize that in addition to the replica banner, which you can see also has the names across, that they were giving out ring pops. The only reason I knew that there were ring pops is because I saw Sue Wicks, who narrated the most recent video. She was rocking a ring pop, which was pretty dope. But I don't know. No word official on whether the veteran players got rings. I didn't see. The only player I saw there was Sue Wicks. So I think they really focused on this team. The Minnesota link is on okay, but we're not talking about the Minnesota links right here. And I don't even know what that means. I mean, my picks for who's gonna be at the top of the of the WNBA regular season are on cbssports.com. So you should check out what I wrote, Damien, because it definitely just go check out what I wrote. It's really not, like, you say this all the time, it's not surprising they did not play on the championship team. I mean, Maureen Johannes doesn't get a championship ring. Rebecca Gardner didn't get a championship ring. I don't know why you thought the vets would get something. Recognition, sure. A ring, absolutely not. And at the price tag of those rings, listen, not everybody's getting a ring. That's why, you know, they got Ellie out here with a new away partnership, Fenty partnership, all these different partnerships to pay for those dang rings. Those things are hella expensive. And again, they're selling them to fans. They're selling. All right, thank you. We might have to connect. We might have to connect so I can get my ring pop. But I thought it was amazing. Ellie performed at halftime. We saw all of the different torch patrols. So the torch patrol that comes on during my favorite part of the game, where they're playing Gotta Get Up, torch patrol, little torches, timeless torches. It was just a big celebration of New York, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The only thing that made it better was that the New York Liberty get the dub. And I know we definitely talked about this on Tempestagi Talk, which we have to have an episode. The Seattle Storm actually played tonight, but we have to talk about the Seattle Storm. But what we were saying about Seattle is that the first few games out the hop are going to be a good test. And I thought the same for the New York Liberty. I'm not sure that I expected them to really be as succinct as they looked to me. We knew the aces were going to come out swinging. You worried about Minnesota. You got to worry about the aces, man. Asia Wilson felt some kind of way about how the season ended. Chelsea Gray was ready to ruin the banner ceremony. Spoiler alert, they didn't. That didn't happen. So, you know, I think it was a great start to the season. If you read my article on cbssports.com, I have two different articles, my takeaways from the game, which we'll go over a little bit in a minute, but then also Tosh Cloud. What a debut. What a regular season debut. And if you have been listening to Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans, then you know after that first preseason game, I wanted to see more from Tosh, and it was a loss, right? The Liberty lost that game, but I wanted to see more from Tosh Cloud, and we got it. We got a lot more from Tosh, and it was beautiful. It was a great performance. What was it? 22 points, 9 assists, I believe 6 rebounds. Stewie was the leading scorer overall for the New York Liberty. Asia Wilson had 31 or 32. Just a really great game. And I think the New York Liberty showed us what is possible. They showed us that this is a team that, I love my lead tracker. The lead tracker was looking good for the New York Liberty. The only lead the Aces had was 2 points. The largest lead for New York, I believe, I know towards the end of the game it was 17, excuse me. And yeah, 17 exactly. Just a really great performance. Points in the paint, 56 to 32. This is a Asia Wilson team where they had against Asia Wilson 56 points in the paint. And this wasn't just Jonquel Jones and Stewie throwing that thing down. This was the New York Liberty. Exactly. I love this comment right here. Stewie looked good. The rest of the league should be on alert. And here's the thing. Before the game, Sandy Brondello said that Stewie was on a mild minutes restriction. She told us that she is healthy. Stewie is healthy. She is 100%. And as a lot of people know, whether it's a procedure, a surgery of any kind, you have to get back into game playing mode. Hello, Arvarnell, a fellow Liberty fan. You already know. I've got my championship hoodie on. I had my banner raising ceremony, my little hood banner raising ceremony here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here it goes. There's a replay. Of the of the banner raising ceremony. I mean, I had a good time. I hope y'all had a good time. It was a good time. Listen, not 1-19. Everyone wants to hold this against Sabrina Ionescu. Like, listen, Sab is gonna be all right, y'all. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. This game we knew was gonna be tough. Tosh came and did what she needed to do. Fast break points in the Liberty's favor. Second chance points were tied 10 aside. Points in the paint, I already told y'all. Also, you have to look at what the New York Liberty got from their bench. 18 to 14 overall, but just totally different momentum swings from the New York Liberty bench as opposed to what the Aces got from their bench. Dana Evans, got to give it up to Dana Evans, though, who really held it down. Pretty sure she had about 10 points from as a reserve player. Yes, this is what stood out to me, Amir. The depth is astounding. And if Sandy goes 10 deep, which she did, she emptied the bench. Everyone got a few minutes. And how long that lasts, we'll see. But that was a big test for me. Is Sandy going to be able to trust and rely on her players, on her squad? And it looks like, yes, she is. So yeah, I think it's great. Damian is such a hater. Listen, I'm not even going to say anything else because I've already said what I had to say. I will tell you, I was at a live recording of A Touch More, and you might know this person. They are a multiple-time Olympian, a 4-time WNBA champion, just got named the new managing director of USA basketball women's national team leading up to the next Olympics, which will be in Los Angeles in 2028. What's her name? Oh, Sue Bird. Yeah, maybe just go listen to what Sue Bird says about Sabrina Ionescu. Go listen to what Sue Bird says about Stewie and her playmaking ability and Stewie transitioning to being a different type of leader, and who is she passing the baton to? Go listen to what Sue Bird says, Damian, because obviously you got a problem with it when I say it. So go listen to Sue Bird, who's just started saying it when I've been saying it for now the better part of 3 years. But just go listen to Sue Bird. Just go listen to Sue Bird. Yes, exactly. Sandy used her bench very well, specifically Stewie, and that was exactly the goal. That was the goal, was to get Stewie some rest, which also I have talked about. But in this scenario, we're talking about Stewie getting rest because she's coming off of a procedure. She had, her knee or her leg cleaned out, so to speak. So yeah, it was a fantastic game, soup to nuts, top to bottom. Natasha Cloud showed us what a true dog looks like in New York. Like, I mean, gosh, that fourth quarter swing, the fourth quarter. So if we go back here, I want to scroll up. I love me a lead tracker. I love me a lead tracker. You won't see it on here because it was just so dominant, but there was a little bit of a blip in the fourth quarter where it seemed like Brian just called me. Hold on. Brian is trying to get into the Brian is trying to get in here. So I got distracted. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, so there was a swing where Natasha Cloud, she 2 hard drives to the basket, got an and one, got Chelsea Gray her 4th and 5th fouls, and in between those 2 plays, she also got a steal on the other end. And I was able to ask Natasha Cloud after the game, like, because she was asked about those plays and about that being that dog mentality, you know, that grit, that sandpaper that I love. But for me, I wanted to know how that impacted her leadership. And, you know, I loved that she talked about energy. You know, that's what she gives to a team is her energy. And when she can make plays like that, then, you know, she is going to give that energy to herself, give that to her teammates. And she was saying, I just felt like we needed an energy shift from there. So yeah, that's it was fantastic to see Tosh Cloud work. I think there was a lot of focus on Sabrina Ionescu in that game, and rightfully so. Vegas knows what she can do. She burnt Vegas a few times. She obviously had a big game. What was that? Game 3, I guess, in the WNBA finals. But overall, I just thought this was a great win, 92-78 win. Leo played full court defense after only having 1 practice with the team. She played full court defense on everyone from Chelsea Gray. I think she was on Jackie Young at one point in time. Like, Leo was in mid-season form. Absolutely was in mid-season form. But I want the man, the myth, the legend, Brian Fleurantin, to hop on the microphone and let us know what he thought about the banner ceremony, the ring ceremony, and of course, the New York Liberty getting that first dub. Brian, how you living?
Hello.
What's going on?
So just to give people a behind the scenes look, like I was like, I'm gonna get home early tonight. Let me get home early. So I'm gonna use link. I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening here? Time. So I'm like, let me just have my little snack, do my thing, and I'm like, oh God, it's like if you've seen that movie with Christian Bale where he's like an astronaut and he's like pounding the wall, like screaming to be heard. I'm like, no, it was happening. But I'm here now. I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about. I'm ready to join the party.
Let's go. You know, we're just talking about, I did my little faux, I'm going to do it again. Live rendition of the banner raising ceremony. We got a live look at the banner raising ceremony. I mean, what were you know, your thoughts taking it all in? A great crowd as usual.
Yeah, I felt like this weekend, the Saturday and Sunday part of them being at Yankee Stadium just felt like it felt like the celebration of 28 years of hard work and just like a complete and total validation of everything they've done leading up to this point. And then the Sunday piece I thought was the beginning of a new adventure. So now, you know, the atmosphere there was just so electric. And I want to say this is probably like the highest attendance they've had for opening game ever, which is amazing. And you just really felt it was I watched some clips back on social media after the game, and they didn't do justice to just how loud that building was throughout the game. There was such an energy and a joy. It felt like being at the best concert of your life, I would say. Where it's like everyone's dialed in, everyone's like locked in, everyone knows all the words, everyone is so jazzed up to be there, and it created such a tremendous environment. And I think what also helped is that the team didn't really start slow because sometimes after you get the championship ring, it's like takes you like a half to maybe get going, and then by then the opposing team is like, we're not going to let you celebrate. The Liberty started like slightly slow, but not too much. It was back and forth early, and then they started to really. I think we started to get a full vision of what the roster is going to look like when things start to click. And for me, the most amazing part is that they won convincingly, and they barely made any 3-pointers, which I think that's a huge positive, I would say, because you've got a team like this, they're going to make their threes eventually, and when that does happen, and the defensive effort is going to travel from city to city, you've got to
flip. Game over. Let's go.
It's like it'll take what could be like a 7-point game, push it to like 16, 17, Easy. And then by then it's that vice grip is fully locked in, and you really have nowhere to go as an opponent. So I think the way Saturday played out was, I would say, I would give it an A- only because the A plus would have been a 3-point shooting going, but it also gives the team plenty more room to be like, okay, we know we can be even better. We know we can finish those shots at the rim even better.
Yeah,
let's get to it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Sabali missed a few bunnies there. The 3-point shooting, I mean, 19%, it's not going to stay there. But, we saw that Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young stepping into threes. I believe Aisha Wilson she definitely attempted one. Yeah. I don't remember if that dropped. I don't think it drained.
Yeah, I think she might have made it, if I remember correctly.
She might have hit one. I know she took one early on, and I was like, okay. Let me find out. Asia Wilson been working on some things.
Those A1s are going to turn her into Stephen Curry.
Listen, let's go. I see this comment here. Arvonell saying, Erica, correct me if I'm wrong. The Liberty have not had a PG like Cloud since Teaspoon. And I think you're right. The only thing I will say that gets severely underrated is that let's not forget Cappy Pondexter played for the New York Liberty. Cappy Pondexter played for the New York Liberty, but I will give you that. Tosh Cloud and Teaspoon, that energy, the undeniable energy. Stewie was talking. I was saying earlier, Brian, I was at a screening for A Touch More. We heard Stewie say a lot about Tasha's versatility and that she's never really played with a guard that tall. She said it again at A Touch More while Sue Bird was right there, because of course she played with Sue Bird. But she's like, I'm excited by that, her versatility. But then she also said what we all know is that you immediately hear Tosh. And she's like, it was almost like she's like, dang, this woman never stops. And it's real. Like, that's her energy. And that was Teaspoon for sure. Also, the same thing about Tosh has been talking about her love language, right? And how she is a giver. We heard Jonathan Kolb say the same thing in that press conference right before we got signed to a 45-minute contract, Brian. He said the same thing. And you see that love. They say spread love is the Brooklyn way. Well, it's the Philly way too. That's the city of brotherly love. So she's got that. There's a lot of parallel tracks to Tosh and New York. And yes, I think that if things go the way they have the potential to, we will start talking about Tosh Cloud and Teaspoon, because I think Varnell's onto something here. We really haven't seen a guard quite like that in some time.
Yeah, and to Varnell's point, do you know who thinks Tosh Cloud is similar to Teaspoon?
Who?
One, Becky Hammond.
And Becky would know.
Yep. It was so funny.
Butt busted by Teaspoon and all them.
Yeah, it was so funny. Like, I got the last question at Aces media availability and pregame Saturday morning. I was like, hey, Becky, good morning. Tosh Cloud's here. What do you think it will be the key for you guys to limiting her impact on both sides of the ball? And she was like, the first thing she said, be where she's not. Like, wherever she's at, we're not trying to be there. And she mentioned that Tosh has the impact of like a tornado, where it's like it's so forceful and powerful and sort of like so wide ranging. And then she was like, it reminds me so much of playing with and against Teaspoon. And I was like, you know what? I could see where you're coming from. And I think similar to Spoon in a sense, it's like that energy is so infectious.
It
Like,
really is, and that's
it-
exactly it.
yeah, like I would say the first and one, the building was at like a 15. After she got the loose ball, was on the ground, got back up, and got the second and one, the building went to like 50, and it was just a crescendo. And then you see after she scores, Kennedy Burke is like really giving her some jabs in the gut. I watched the replay back. Sandy's like. Jalen Sherrod is jumping up and down. Like, it was so nuts.
And you know what it is that Tosh Cloud talked about that after I forget, it might have been when Pep was asking her question, but she said something like, yo, on the second drive, she thought it was a charge because of how loud the crowd got. Like, she was like, I just assumed that they were pissed about something, is, you know, what I'm interpreting that she said. She was like, it was so loud that I just assumed it was a you know, it was called a charge.
Yeah, like as soon as the second one got down, like I was in the second row in media row, and like in the first row were Nakai's Duncan and Miles Ehrlich. I got up from my chair. I tapped on. I was like, "That's our fan favorite right there. Like, that's the fan favorite. That's the person right there." Like, if like I feel like every great team has like that player that embodies the fan base and the sort of like grit and tenacity of the town they're in.
That's it.
Like, this is it, and it took about 30 minutes of game action to cement that spot 1,000%, which is really amazing to me.
Fantastic. I want to ask you something, Brian, because at the media day, I was talking with Aaliyah and Ari Chambers, and we were discussing if we were to draft New York media, so the beat reporters and those of us who are based out of New York. I say that like I still am, but you know,
you're one of us. You always gang. Don't worry about that.
Let's go. I'm OG. This is year 10 seasons of covering the New York Liberty for me. That's what's up. 10. Bow. Let's go. But so all right. I want to know, if you had to draft your comp on this New York Liberty roster, who would you say personality-wise you are most like?
Personality-wise, that's a good one, because like I've been chilling. Like everyone on the team is so like vivacious and outgoing. I'm like more reserved in that regard.
If you had to pick, all right, hold your pick. So, all right, y'all, you heard what Brian had to say. Based on just that, who do y'all think Brian is most like, personality-wise, from this current New York Liberty roster? And then you can say the same for me. I feel like mine is a pretty obvious answer. I feel like mine is pretty obvious. I think there's two ways you could go with this. I think there's two different ways you could go with this, but y'all let us know in the chat and we'll circle back to this, because I thought it was a fun conversation to have with Ari and Aaliyah. If you're not checking out their work, make sure you do that. But all right. I love that you mentioned 3-point shooting. Definitely can improve there. You know, someone already came in the chat talking about 1 in 19. 1 in 19 still got a ring though. We already showed it.
Got that one. That's that one.
Just the one, and might put it on a special finger for people still coming at her. But anyway, so what did you think about the rotations that Sandy employed? You know, the different combinations. As you're doing that, I'm going to put you on the large screen because I want to go to my notes, because I wrote down a specific combo that I was like, chef's kiss. But you talk, what were your thoughts there on the combos?
Gotcha. I love that Sandy went with quick rotations. I feel that it really allows players to stay fresh and not be too overworked, especially in the beginning parts of the game. So a player like a Kennedy Burke coming in early really gave a good change up. She was getting those drives to the basket. And there was one play that really stood out to me where Sab gets it to her on the wing. KB was initially going to spot it for a 3, but then she's like, wait a minute, no one's coming. I'm wide open. Let me just zip on down to the lane. And that's an easy 2 points right there. I feel like Kennedy's minutes were really huge, and she really allowed for so much optionality. And I thought she did a really good job at the 4 position. Like, she gave them that extra ball handling. She gave them that extra room. I will say I would love for Sandy to keep up the short rotations. That way players get those 5 minutes in. You're managing everyone's workload. You're not pushing anyone past 30 plus right now. I think by August, September, you're gonna naturally whittle it down to where you want it to be. But for now, I like a large rotation, and I like to have certain players take on more responsibility, like a Burke coming off the bench. Something that was interesting to me, and Sandy sort of like acknowledged it as a point of self-criticism for herself after, was that she didn't get Beck Gardner in as much as she wanted to. And she was like, Beck is really important for us. We just didn't get her in today, but we're gonna incorporate that. And I feel for Beck, we'll really, as we sort of like get to like next weekend for the Liberty and what they're doing, we'll see her there, I'm assuming. So I think for Sandy, this game was also a moment of, okay, I got some good rotations in, but I want to see if I can tweak things a little bit more. I want to try to sort of like manage it out a little bit, see if I can get more players in. Like someone else in that bench unit that I thought was really good in their limited minutes was Nyara Sabali. She had that one bad flagrant foul, but I'm like, landing zone spots, I'm always like, sometimes it's not your fault. Like, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it's regulated. There was nothing just about that. Like, so it's just like she was in the no parking zone,
Because it's so expensive nowadays, too. Like, oh, boy.
Hey, listen, I love this throwback. Kim Hampton for me. I wouldn't have said Kim, but I do love me some Kim, and I could get with that. I think that Kim Hampton is one side of my personality. There's probably another. If we're going with OG Liberty players, there's the obvious choice. Crystal Robinson for Brian. I could see that. I dig it. I dig it. But definitely we're thinking of this 2025 roster. So we got to circle back. 2025 roster. Who are we most like? Let us know. Okay. I found my notes, my handy dandy notebook. The combination that caught my eyes. And I was like, oh, Sandy about to try some things this season. JJ, KB, MJ, Leo, and Sab.
That's a good combo. I like it.
What?
I like it.
There was one time where Stewie subbed in for MJ. And I'm just like, what in the positionless basketball? What in the positionless basketball is going on here?
Like the funny. Oh, I'll let you get back.
No, you go.
Yeah, one of the funny things, and Sandy talked about it when she was asked about the fourth quarter in particular, is that when teams are like, we're going to go small because we're going to get all this offensive punch on the court. And the Liberty are like, okay, if you're going to go small, who can hang with guards in the perimeter and do all those things? 6'10" Jonquel Jones.
JJ was getting low.
Like JJ, like her passing was tremendous. There were so many great cuts. There was like one play. I was rewatching the game before I came on. Like she found Stewie cutting baseline with the bounce pass. Stewie gets up immediately. Like having a center that can operate from all over the court and do all these amazing things is really so cool. And on the other side, you're not gonna try to go at her because she'll block your shot. Start the fast break, finish the fast break, and get an and one. So having your center who can do that is so valuable, and it almost makes them lineup proof in a sense where you can't. What good lineup can you? What's your best lineup, and is it good enough to counter a Liberty combination of any sort of thing? It's going to be really, really hard. And when you have defenders like a Leo, like a Burke who's working really hard out there, you on the other side have to be so conscious of Johannes and Sab from all over the court. It's so hard to navigate that. And I think that the deeper the season goes, the more punishing the Liberty will be when they incorporate the lineups to counter the team's small ball on the other side.
I agree. And so, if we look at the breakdown here, like you said, no one really going wild over 30 minutes. Tosh with 32, but everyone got a little bit of play. We got to see Izzy, Q, and Jalen come in at the end of the game. As you said, Sandy already talking about Beck Gardner wanting to get more minutes there. I mean, I think you can definitely talk about Sabrina Ionescu, and 8 points is not what we're expecting from Sab. And I think that speaks to what we know the Aces are going to want to do, which is to neutralize Sab. I mean, that's clear as day. Yeah. We look, at the the lineup, you've got Leo only with 2 points, but I thought she was phenomenal defensively. But you have Stewie with 25. You've got JJ with 17, got a double-double. And then of course Tosh Cloud with a quiet 22. Like it kind of came out of nowhere, Brian.
Yeah.
And it was needed. It was necessary.
Yeah. The funny part is that she probably, I think she sort of got to it in post game a little bit with Lucas. It's like, in the first quarter, he had some layups that just missed, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm just throwing it up all over the place." But it's like, hey, the process is really solid, and you consistently getting downhill. I think I even wrote in my notebook during the game that like that sort of like bounciness she was playing with, and just like that determination to continue getting downhill. That's Jonathan Cope talked a lot about the process at media day as far as like we want to get more of those shots at the rim, and that right there, even with the misses early.
You're JK. You just mentioned him. That was perfect timing, Amir. Y'all playing that. Y'all want
it. Yeah, like being able to just like execute the game plan in that way, even when the shots weren't there early, that's so cool, and that's really excellent game plan work by New York. And I think it also, especially in this matchup, served a second purpose because Vegas is so short with bigs besides Asia. Like, we didn't see. I don't think Kitley played.
No Kitley.
No Kitley.
No Pancakes Mama.
Yeah. Cheyenne is out for a while as she's finishing up a pregnancy and things like that. So it's just Asia as the lone big out there. And for Asia, putting that onus on her on the defensive side is so valuable because she's got to battle Jonquil, she's got to battle Stewie. Miara is running all over the court. She's got to like bang with her on the glass. So having a guard consistently beating perimeter defenders off the dribble, getting downhill, it puts a lot of extra strain on their very best player, and it tires her out. Like she had 31 and 15. I looked up, I'm like, damn, she on it. But that's a lot of hard work. That's
hard minutes, like we've been talking about. Very hard minutes. And I mean, listen, I might not personally be a betting woman, but as you know, Brian, professionally, we have to keep eyes on the sports books. It's a topic of conversation these days now. And just like Tarika Foster Brasby was so mad that the Detroit Tigers were lower in the power rankings for MLB, and then threw some shade at my Mets at the same dang time, Tarika.
Respect the Mets.
I thought we was cool just coming from my Mets. Tarika and I love sparring about Major League Baseball. Anytime I disagree with Tarika, I'm going to do it because I know that she can take it and we have fun. She one time tried to mush me in my temple, though. I had to be like, okay, wait a minute.
Hold on, gang.
Hold on. Like, I know you from Detroit, but let's not forget.
Hold on, gang.
Just like I told Tina Charles, I'm from New York. What that mean to me? What a little Detroit mean to me? Anyway, listen. This team is great. I love the New York Liberty, and I don't understand how more people aren't putting respect on the Vegas Aces, how more people aren't putting respect on Asia Wilson. Because I did not pick Asia Wilson for MVP in my preseason poll. I do think that the way Fee looked in Unrivaled, stop it.
Fee got a checklist and she running through everybody.
She's running through it. She running through that thing. Like, yeah, Juan Soto had a rough weekend. I mean,
he bounced back. Don't worry about it.
We ain't worried about it. Like, Yankee fans all up in their feelings. Like, they don't throw millions of dollars at people. Got people who coming from Boston cutting off their beard and their hair just to be a dang Yankee and gonna get all upset. All upset. I have thoughts, but I will save them for a political podcast that I do not have. Anyway, this is hilarious. Why are you dragging me on Al Gore's internet like this? Do not do that. But you are absolutely right. Now you got anger issues, latent anger issues. So I'm gonna say Tosh Cloud. Listen, love, hate, baby, love, hate. Let's go. They're a 1-2 punch. That's from a Spike Lee joint, if y'all didn't know. But I just don't have my rings on right now, so I can't show y'all. But I love that. I love that. And Varnell said, Queen Bee, I'll take it. Like, okay, period. On point with the defense. That's me. That's me. And then I kind of like this Q or Beck for Brian. Like,
I like that.
Reserved, but get you in your element.
Yeah.
Is over.
Work be done, Hey, it's quiet, but job is done. Very solid workman-like minutes. Get you covered. And then we move.
I love it. Yeah, it was wild. Sab with 8 points. That ain't happening all the time. And you got to respect what the Aces were doing. But, I think this is a promising New York team for sure from what we saw. Absolutely promising. So, I mean, again, the 3-pointers, we know that's going to fall. Getting the rotations the way they want it, that's going to work out. But the New York Liberty are taking on Chicago and then also have Indy later this week. So Chicago, we saw, Indiana, man, Indiana put a hurting on them.
Oy. Discourse Bowl 1 is off to a roaring start.
I know. I mean, a triple-double, though, in game 1. Like,
that's cold.
Caitlin Clark, she was like...
That's cold. She back, and she's back. She's jacked, and she's ready to get some more awards to that medal.
Listen, Caitlin Clark said, "You're not leaving me off nothing. She better get to camp. She got to get to camp, Brian. She's got to go to camps.
I wonder if after every game, is she just gonna send a personal mixtape to Sue Bird? Because I would be like, "Hey, Sue." Look at this mixtape. Look, just watch it. Here's my CD.
That's hilarious. Like a burner account and just keeps at Sue Bird. Speaking of Sue Bird, I shared this in the Slack channel, but Bird's Eye View, the Sabrina Ionescu episode. First of all, I am a Sue Bird fan. I love that Sue Bird is just like giving us like full, unfiltered Sue. And Sue, unlike Tosh Cloud, or perhaps me, according to Amir, he and I, she's not loud with it. She's very calm. She's very, and I overcooked my dang salmon trying to type in the comments. Don't do that. Get you one of them. What are the cedar wood block? Help so that you don't burn it. Just cook it on the cedar wood. So good. Now I want some salmon. What I was going to say is Sue Bird had Sab on her new podcast, Bird's Eye View. And the first thing, because Sue is a G and she can admit when she's wrong, she said, now that you're here, I can apologize officially because, and then she did in her Sue Bird way, say that she was alluding to the fact that she was very intoxicated. And we were like, yes, Sue, we all watched during COVID.
You cool?
A touch more was appointment viewing. If y'all wasn't watching, I don't know what to tell y'all. It was a once in a lifetime experience to on live see people like Diana Taurasi, so many, because and Pino was there too, so different players from the women's national team just going in. But one of the things that Sue Bird said was that she said someone whose name rhymes with Schmenity Schmarter or something like that was going to be the best player out of the 2020 class. And what Sabrina said is that fueled her. That fueled her. And I'm like, yo, Sabrina can hold a dang grudge. And I love that.
Absolutely. And I will say,
receipts, sis. Pull receipts. All y'all 1 in 19 clowns, wait for yours.
So yeah, and to that point, I would tell people who have the WNBA League Pass, look up the first Liberty Sparks game at Barclays Center in August 2022 and watch what happens when Sabrina and Redacted got into a little tussle and how Sab turned up in that game. Sab was like, "Oh, I'm chilling. I don't be woofing at people. You and I both know what's going on."
Okay, I love that you. I don't know if you did this intentionally. So you've got a dog, and then there's a wolf. Sab is a wolf. She's savage. She's untamable when she gets into. When she gave those eyes in Game 3, I was like possessed, like possessed. She went to another plane. She was on a different frequency. Like she left us. She left momentarily the game, and just like, ooh, hit him with the. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And as I already said, if you don't believe me about the jingle jangle keys, go listen to what Sue Bird says. Go listen to what Sue Bird says about Sabrina. Go listen to how she's talking to Stewie about how she's in real time seeing someone who she's played with, someone who she's very friendly with, how her game is changing, and who does Sue Bird see as the direct beneficiary of that. Brian, you were there for Black Girl Media when she talked at USA Basketball. She talked about that Stewie's game is hitting a different level. And she, for a touch more, the live show, she talked about, and she defined that even further to say that Stewie's playmaking ability is coming into form. So it's not just that Stewie's looking for her shot, but she's being a conductor of sorts out there. I mean, is that what you see? Is that how you see it?
Yeah, like one of the things that was really impressive to me about Stewie's game, I saw on Blue Sky, the username at Trinklewald made the point that a lot of her buckets just came with no dribbles. Like she got it, immediately went up on the go, on the move, and that sort of like juice without the ball in your hand is so valuable, because I think for the Liberty, when they're at their worst, it's like when they're too isolation heavy and it's like, oh, the ball just like airs out. It's just like stuck in one player's hand.
And that's what didn't Sandy talk about that Saturday?
Yeah. Like Stewie being able to really sort of like be a shapeshifter for this team, where it's okay, I need you to get 30 tonight. I can do that. I need you to play off the ball. Do that too. I need you to like wreck shop on defense. I do that all the time. Don't worry about that. Like the fact that she's been able to do that has been so fascinating. And I think to Sue's point, I love watching players get older, especially when they've come off like serious injuries in the way that Stewie did a couple years ago. It's like you see, it's like the body may not be what it was when she was first MVP in 2018 with the Storm, when she was like such a world destroyer in that regard. But it's like the physical may not be what it was at your absolute peak, but the sharpness of your game is just getting there. Like it's almost like it's sort of similar like to like watching an athlete who sort of like solved the sport in a sense, where it's like they know every move, they know every coverage, they know they see everything and are able to navigate that no matter what you throw at them. They're always like, okay, I have a counter to this counter and another counter to that counter. It's so fun because it shows that even as you're not the sort of peak athlete that you may have been once upon a time, your game is still so incredible, because like a player could be younger and more athletic, but they don't have the sort of like lived experience, the institutional knowledge that you do, and you're able to sort of like make the most out of every single time you have the ball in your hands, and that's so fun to watch. And it's almost like it's almost like a chess match where it's like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, and just like watching her sort of like build through it in real time is so exciting. And I think for I think to Sue's point, Stewie being that leader and being the person to set the standard here, I think sets the standard for everybody else at the same time.
100%. And so, the student becomes the master, as the phrase goes. I love this. Varnell saying, Erica and Brian, not only will Sabrina get them keys, okay, them keys, let's go, jingle jangle, but she will be driving this Rolls Royce. Ooh, okay, let's go, because we ain't tacky at the New York Liberty. That's one thing. We ain't tacky. You can be economical and still have class. I mean, a Rolls Royce is not necessarily economical, but either way, the point is she's going to be driving this Rolls Royce for a very long time. Let's go. Let's go. I do want to get to because Chicago. Now, let's talk about Chicago a little bit. Talk about the next two lineups because we talked about that the depth in the post non-existent right now for the Aces. We're not gonna talk about that. I mean, I could because it's a former Liberty player, but we're not gonna talk about that. So here's what I want to know. We're gonna get to the Fever in a minute, Damien, but let's start with Chicago. And you know, the post, you got Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. That's some serious weight, and they pass well too. Because that's another thing. Stewie and JJ, how many? I think JJ had
like 6.
I want to say 6. I didn't see how many Stewie had, but man, they connect so well. And since it's a 5 out, you've got guards driving. You pull Asia out of the paint. If Stewie and JJ are out, where's Asia? Out. Out. Because Asia's not guarding Tosh Cloud. Asia's not guarding, you know, like they're not, unless it's a switch or, you know, dire straits. They're not gonna just be like, all right, Asia, go guard Sab. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. Now the Liberty might do it every once in a while, but the Aces ain't gonna do that. So when you have a team like Chicago, and we already talked about the 3-point shooting wasn't there. Is this a game where you need more from Sabrina, where you need more from even an MJ and a Tosh from the perimeter?
Yeah, I would think so, because I think for Chicago right now, their sort of like guard room is still trying to sort of like iron some things out. And I think for Chicago especially, this I think has to be a big Ariel Atkins season. Because I think for Chicago, they don't really have that player who's like, go and get it. They don't have like a player on the caliber of like an Asia or Feet or Stu. They don't have that game-breaking forward in that regard. Angel's a game-breaker, but not in that way. So for perimeter scoring, like you need Ariel Atkins to be like, you know, a gold medal. Like she needs to play like she was a gold medal. Like she is a gold medal. So she's play like that. And if she doesn't have that, it's going to be really hard to get scoring because Beck Allen, that's not really her game in that regard. Sloot can get you buckets on occasion, but that's not, you go and get it like that. That's not Sloot's game. Van Lith is a rookie, so you're not expecting that out of her. So it's got to be a big Ariel Atkins season for Chicago if they want to get into the playoffs and sort of like start building up that foundation they want to. So I think for the Liberty guards, I think with Atkins being so important to Chicago's scoring, this is a key for them to be like, okay, I'm going to make you really work. I'm going to make you work extra hard tonight. And for Sabrina, flying off these screens, getting downhill, she went like 3 for 12, but she was getting to the cup a good amount and getting those floaters in and 3-pointers, they're going to fall. So for Sab, it's just a matter of maintaining the activity level on that side and really sort of like driving and putting Ariel Atkins in a position where, you really got to work hard because if a player like Beck gets the Cloud assignment because Cloud is too quick or the Leo assignment because Leo is really long, that leaves Sabrina with Atkins defending her. And Sab, I think, if she's really on it, she can really make things happen in a big way.
Yeah, and then that's where the pick and roll game also, we know that she in particular has been working on both sides of that. But that's where your post, you help out your effectively shooting guard. And you make sure that you give her, because she don't need a lot.
Yeah.
Just give her a little bit of space so she can shoot that thing.
Yep.
Like Katie Smith used to say, shoot that thing. Shoot that thing. Albert, you said something else that I want to come back to. I meant to do it when we were talking about Stewie, but I want to come to this because on A Touch More, I don't know if they posted the live show or how they did that, but there was a live show after the game. And they had these pictures of Stewie like through her years, you know, from when she was young all the way up to the parade. And so I remember seeing Stewie go into the crowd. She was all about it, like handshake, da 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 da. But there was one time, Brian, where she came off of the float because she saw someone had a bottle of wine. And so we got the full story. We got the full story that so her agent had gotten her this bottle of wine because she had enough tact to not name the publication or the outlet, Kevin Pelton, ESPN. But remember, Marta clapped back. We talked about that on the show about how, Stewie was on the wrong side.
Old.
She was old. And so the agent bought her this $500 bottle of wines because she's aging like, 5 wine. And they get ready to go for the parade and it drops. The bottle drops. So Stewie, the emoji queen, put out something on social media. Can someone get her a bottle of wine? And so the wine that we see, so she goes into the crowd and then she comes back out, grabs the wine, and that's the wine that she was drinking. And that was the photo that they showed on A Touch More. I thought that was hilarious. I didn't remember. I knew that she had tweeted, but I didn't have the full story that she dropped a $500 bottle of wine. The way I would have been like, I need a straw stat, but I'm broke, so I can't. I'm like, I need. Let's put these pieces together so that I remember that I once held a $500 bottle of wine. Oh my gosh. So good. Oh my gosh. Mr. Chronic Darkness, not Ghost. Here he goes. Here comes Ghost. Comes Ghost. Listen, full on New York Liberty fan. You can thank the wonderful Tosh Cloud. Hey, let's go. We talked about Tosh a lot. Tosh Cloud, Sabrina Ionescu, Johannes are playmakers, in my opinion. Yeah, of course they are. Yeah. And so is Stewie, and so is JJ. That's the versatility. That's the positionless. So we've moved on, as Brian, I have officially moved on from taunting, not really taunting, in my way, taunting, poking fun at, busting. I have moved on from busting Jonathan Kolb's chops about hybrid rebuilds. And now I told him the next phrase that I am going to be particular about is positionless. Positionless basketball. But Cloud9 holding it down as a true point guard, as a true as a true lead guard, whatever you want to say. There's all these terms now, as a true one. And that, I have always said this. Go back, read my articles for The Athletic when I was a beat writer for The Athletic, a beat writer for the New York Liberty. There we go. Words matter, order matters. The New York Liberty beat writer for The Athletic. I remember showing a little bit of frustration that they were going to pick Sabrina. And it's not that you don't pick Sabrina Ionescu. You pick Sabrina. But what I said from the minute we knew that was really happening, even before, is that Sabrina without a true one, and we didn't see, they tried with Leja, right? Mm-hmm. When they were with the team, but that wasn't enough. Wasn't quite the right veteran move. Then you bring in Sloot, obviously a much better move. And things happened in Sloot's life, that I think made it so that this wasn't a long-term stay, but that was a better move. And I am telling you right now, Tosh Cloud and Sabrina Ionescu has the potential to be the best backcourt. I don't even know if it's potential. In one game, it might already be, Brian, the most versatile backcourt that we have ever seen on a Sabrina Ionescu New York Liberty squad.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like, especially like when I'm thinking.
I think you're muted.
Oh, how about now? Better?
I can't hear you. Can y'all hear Brian? Can y'all hear me? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You can hear me. I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me refresh. Right back.
Technical difficulties. I guess that means I just have to raise the banner again. Brian is having some oh, you can hear both of us. So I couldn't hear Brian. That was strange. All right, well, we'll get it fixed. Right? $500. I would have mourned if I dropped $500 bottle. That's crazy.
All right, I'm back. Can you hear me?
I got you. Okay. That was weird. I guess they could hear you, but I couldn't hear you. That was strange.
That's weird. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got it. We got it fixed. Everyone's back. We're here. Yeah, I would have been ill. If I dropped a $500 bottle.
Like I just look down and I'm like, I just see regret, and I'm just like regret and sadness just like wash over me. It might as well rain too while you're at it. Just really, just wash it all away from me while you're at it.
I just needed to lay on the ground for a moment. Okay, but best backcourt. That's the question at hand.
Yeah. I think it might be I think back to 2020, Sab and Lay were there for like 3 games before Sabrina got hurt. In 21, it was Sab at the point and then Sammy at the 2, which was okay, but Sab was injured, so it's not really much to gain from it. In 22, it was Sab and Crystal Dangerfield, which saved the season because they were down bad when Sandy inserted Crystal in the starting lineup after a really abominable loss to the Storm that year in Seattle. And then they sort of like turned it around from there. 23, Sab and Sloot got most of the minutes. 24 as well too. And then when Sloot was away from the team, that's when we saw more Leo at the 2 and then more B at that combination. So I was like, okay, here's where the rhythm is. But from like guard to guard, I think it might be Cloud, because I think Cloud really has that bounce that really sort of like allows the team to really sort of take another level. And I think with Sabrina in this version of herself, I feel is way more comfortable and confident in her game. Because I feel like for each season, like she's gradually adding it to her repertoire, and just like you're gaining that confidence every year. And I feel like now she's it feels like she's like the fully actualized version of herself. And I think that matters a tremendous deal. So I think my early lead might be the best sort of like backcourt combo for Sabrina in her career so far.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone's got to stay healthy. We saw that Tosh Cloud can drop 22. That won't always be Tosh though. I think Sabrina, there were a few times where she was trying to drive, and I don't think that she kind of got what she was looking for, either in her shot or, to be honest, some calls. I love that she's absorbing contact now and not just throwing that neck back. I'm like, come on, Sab, stay strong.
People used to clock that all the time in 2022. They're like, every possession's just like that. I'm like, come on, hey, cut her some slack.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. No, Ghost, you're good. We actually haven't talked about this. We talked about JJ, but I saw I think it was Bleacher Report, and they were saying that the ball got wedged in between them. They showed the clip, and the ball got wedged in between, because I didn't see that part live. I did see them barking because it was behind. Well, literally, they were both behind the ball. Get it? But the play was dead, and they were just jawing at each other, and people were like, "Yo, what's going on?" Listen, here's the thing. Everyone's talking about Sabrina. Everyone's talking about Caitlin and Angel, and like JJ and Chelsea. Like, they said what they said, and then the game went on. Like, that's
that's the funny part. Like, I was sitting up first, so they was like, "Oh," the referees was like, "Just cut it out, move on, we good." And like he mentioned about the video, it was so hilarious because like the ball hit both their bats at the same time, and they both thought the other person pushed them.
Yep, they were like, "Yo,
it's like, hey, what are you pushing me for? You pushing me for?" Just like, basketball is a hilarious sport sometimes when you let it be. And I feel like next time they see each other, they might just have like a nice glass of wine and joke about it, because it didn't blow up. It was just funny and hilarious.
It was funny. Yeah, it was funny. Yeah. And, if they do share a bottle of wine, do not let Stewie carry it. Don't let, she be dropping $500 literally dropping $500 like it's nothing. Hey, I don't think that was a $500 bottle she grabbed from the crowd, but sis was gone. She was good and gone. It didn't matter at that point. It's just
Got
like,
the job done. It gave you some.
Purple
It gave
drink.
you some clutch minutes.
She said, "Give me some of that purple drink." Oh man, JJ is the real deal. Is the real deal for sure, for sure. I love it. I mean, overall solid. But
Yeah.
let's talk about Indiana. This is a good looking Indiana squad, and unlike Vegas, if New York can't get something going on the perimeter, we know Indiana can do that. Between Lexi, they've got Sophie, obviously Caitlin Clark, they've got Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, do we got to talk about Indiana? We kind of got to talk about them. Also, I'll tell you a little bit about the Indiana game, which is going to be on CBS. So yours truly will be on site for that. So that's going to be CBS is carrying that game, so that's exciting. But I mean, let's talk about it. So the shooting has to be on point. What would you say though about the paint? Is that somewhere that you expect New York to be able to take advantage? You know, what are you thinking there? Because they still have Boston Howard, and you know, DeWanna Bonner is like the ultimate positionless. I still don't even really know what position that girl plays. Because she's so tall. She's so tall. I love it. Anyway, what do you think about Indiana?
That's going to be, I think pace is going to be essential in that game because Indiana has been deliberate about wanting to speed things up and really to get out on the go. So I think for the Liberty, they've got to be really careful about ball possession because turnovers are going to be turnovers against that team is going to spell trouble, and then that building's going to get pumped up because it's Memorial Day weekend, Indy 500 weekend, Pacer weekend. That building's going to be on 10 starting in already.
You know who's going to be in New York while they're playing? The Pacers.
Yeah.
Pacers are playing the Knicks.
Yep. It's going to be, that building's going to be on, like, Indiana. Indiana is an underrated turn-up city. Like, I've been there a few times. Like,
I've never been. It's gonna be my first time. So you gotta tell me the spots, Brian. You gotta tell me the spots.
Like people, like it gets a little bit turned up in there. And when you get there, like there's a Tamika catching statue inside. You'll love it.
Ooh, dope. Yeah. I'm gonna try to go to Tease Me while I'm there.
Ooh, very fun.
That's it. I love tea. I really do. I'm not a coffee girly. So for those of y'all who don't know, Tamika Catching has it is a franchise now. So it just used to be just the store, but they've got 3 locations. They bottle up teas, like iced teas that you could buy. Like, come on, let's go, business entrepreneur. Let's go. I like what you're talking about with pace because there is more of a post presence on this Indiana team, and they can get up and down. For sure. And the New York Liberty love to play that game. I mean, you want to talk about pace. Tosh ran that team in the fourth quarter. And it was great because we know the Liberty can run, but like getting with urgency, like the Stewie does this very well. When I think when the New York Liberty are running pace the best, it's actually Stewie that's usually pushing the pace because she has a way of getting down court with urgency. I think it's because she's so long, so she can get like it's 2 dribbles and like sis about to she ready to dunk. You know, you talked about how she moves in space. She's just so great with that. And so when people see Stewie dribbling the ball up on her team, I think they know, oh, like we gotta get in position. We gotta hustle. Yeah. And Tosh has that same thing. And again, you said it earlier. If you don't want to keep Stewie open, if you are guarding, maybe even doubling JJ up if she's in the paint, or even if she pushes out, because if JJ pushes out, then it's Asia out of the paint. So then that leaves, as we saw, Chelsea Gray to try and stop the locomotive machine that is Tosh Cloud. Like, not Bonner don't want no part of the post. she's like a hybrid wing post. Like I said, I genuinely could not tell you what position she plays, but I've talked to her about that. She's like, yeah, you know, people ask me about my physique all the time because let's be honest, if we look at her frame, there's only so much weight you could put on a hanger. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you gotta, but Bonner handles herself pretty well because she's no punk neither.
Yeah, like people are, oh DB, she left it. No. Dewana Bonner straighten you out real quick. Be careful.
Oh, for sure. She said, yeah, come get this.
And something else I'm thinking about, I sort of hinted at it earlier with Sandy's posting comments. I think this might be a Beck Gardner game. Like, I feel like for
75 pounds of Wolverine. I mean, but that's facts. Oh man, I like what you're saying though. Gardner, tell us more.
Yeah, I think for this game we might see a little bit more Beck Gardner, and I think she'll probably get the assignment of either Mitchell or Clark, because I feel like those two in particular are so excellent with the ball in their hands, and you really want to have a guard defender like a Beck who can do so many things well. And I think it also helps that they'll be able to throw different combinations at them, because one thing about like a great offensive player, they see a coverage enough times, they'll start to figure it out. So being able to throw a Leo on a Clark for a few possessions, Tosh Cloud, Beck Gardner, being able to mix it up in that way, I think is going to be really helpful for the Liberty. And I guess as we draw closer to Saturday, I'm really going to be interested to see what the initial matchups are going to be, because I think that'll set the tone of everything. So I think that it's not a proving game for the Liberty. It's more of like it's more of like an experimentation where it's like, okay, I want to see what can work against an elite scoring team like this. What sort of like combinations can I try? But I think on the other side, this is going to be a measuring stick game for Fever. Like, they're, to a player, they're all talking about wanting to be that contending team. And what better way to show you're a contender than going head to head against the champs on CBS? Like, that's going to be, as atmosphere, environment, competition, that's everything you want, especially in an early season matchup. Like, they're going to be jazzed up for it. And I think the Liberty have talked a lot about being ready for team's best punch. This is going to be a good little showdown on the Saturday afternoon on America's leading network.
I'm okay with the assist. Let's go, Brian. Yes, I'm excited. So I will be doing work for CBS Sports HQ. It is a CBS broadcast, so we'll have our broadcast team on linear, as it's called. Just is basically a fancy word of or way of saying regular cable TV. But then you got us digital nomads like me, and so I think I'm working with Chris Williamson. I got to check that. Or it could be Chris Hassel. I got to check. Someone just said Chris, and I think I assumed it was Williamson, but it is in Indiana, so it's probably Hassel now that I'm thinking about it. But I'll confirm that Chris will be there. Chris will be there. Chris and Erica. That's all you need to know. Chris and Erica will be there. I'm excited. I've never been to Indianapolis, never been to Indiana before. So this is going to be good. I like it. Sabali. Okay, this is another player who I think Sabali had 6, right? 6, 8, something like that. I think that it's tough to say Sab and then Sab. But I think Niara will also get some more minutes as things go on. Did I write it down? I was like, who was the first sub? I'm pretty sure it was KB.
I think it was KB.
But it was also interesting that Gardner got the start out of or coming out of the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we saw Gardner come in. I think Niara, a little more Niara would be huge. I think Niara she almost, and I feel like I've said this before, right? She's like Stewie light. I don't think her game is exactly like Stewie's, but what I mean is that playmaking that Sabrina, that Sue Bird has been talking about, I see that in Niara already. And she's someone who's still establishing herself, but she's a fantastic playmaker. She can dribble the ball. She can rebound. She can play up on her weight and size. And she can also be nimble and slow down those people who are smaller than her, right,
Yeah.
in the post. So I want to see how Niara is used throughout this season, because I think that she also can provide some of that versatility when you have lineups that are a little more equipped to play one side of how the Liberty play really well. So when you have a lights out shooting team, I think you can have Niara, shore things up. And also she's a post player that can defend further out from the paint, right?
Yeah.
Not that JJ can't do that. It's just a little different when Niara is able to do it. So I think that'll be interesting as well.
Yeah. I think back now that we're talking about Niara, like her first game against the FIFA last year was such a coming out party. Like she was really running the floor really hard. There's one play that's really memorable to me where I think it was Kelsey Mitchell had her on the baseline and she had the advantage, but then
They actually look nothing alike. I just genuinely don't know what Chris I got thrown on a text message chain with. I'm like, "Hi, Chris."
how are you?
Hello, Chris. Just stay right there. Don't commit to anything until I know which Chris is. Show yourself. Reveal yourself. So, are you the Florida Chris or the Stanford Chris? Oh man, I'm sorry. Continue, Brian. Continue.
Like there was one moment in the first Liberty Fever game last year that really sort of like told me that Niara's in line for a big year, where Kelsey Mitchell had her one-on-one on the wing. Kelsey got by her, but Niara caught up with her, pinned her shot on the backboard, and then sprinted down to help lead the fast break for the Liberty. And I think for a team, especially if she gets cross-matched and switched onto a player like a Mitchell or Clark, like players who are really good at driving to the cup, like that athleticism is going to be really valuable. And I think, going into this game, the length of the Liberty is going to be the big story here. Like having a team that's so rangy and long in the ways that New York is so valuable. And I think especially, when we see the Dream and Sparks later this season, there'll be so much discussion. Could be.
Might be.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when we see teams like the Dream and Sparks later this season, there's going to be so much discussion of, the shots you take. Is it our team? Are they so focused on getting 3-pointers up and not sort of getting to the rim? Like Phoenix too, as well too. I would say hang with on a switch. I think yes, but like if it's just like Niara guarded for whole possession, that's where you run into trouble. But I think on an emergency switch, a player like a Niara, I think can sort of like make something happen.
But is she going to be putting up Kelsey Mitchell, full court like Leo? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
We don't want that. I mean, she could do it a time or two, but like Leo, oh my gosh, Leo is so intense and I freaking love it. Maybe I'm low-key Leo. I'm all of them. I'm every New York Liberty woman. Isn't that what Whitney and Shaka Khan sang about? I thought so.
It's all in me.
Anything you want to, baby. I love it. All right, we got some folks because we're going to start wrapping up here. Talking about what about Kennedy Burke? KB not talked about enough. I know that's your girl, Brian. So I want to tee you up for this one.
She was excellent on Saturday. Like KB, I think does so many things well on this team, and she sort of plugs. She KB plugs so many roles on this team, and I think she also is a player that can initiate the offense too. And I think for a team like the Liberty, having multiple good ball handlers matters so much because it means that everyone is able to sort of like contribute and run a set. And I think especially when the Liberty are at their best is when they're sort of improvisational because you don't know, is it going here? Sabrina's coming off the screen. No, that's not her. It's Stewie cutting to the basket. There are so many options and buttons they can press on a single possession. And I think having versatile players like a Burke who can handle things and make things happen like that is meaningful. And I think also KB hitting threes, I think, is going to be critical to that Liberty bench because I think sometimes it's a situation like when Sloot was here, teams would be like, you know what? We're going to go way under. You want to take them pull-up jumpers? Good luck. We'll live with it. Having a player like a Burke who can make those spot-up catch-and-shoot threes, I think is going to be so meaningful to New York. And I think, especially from the first game and the preseason game against Connecticut, like she's playing with that confidence that matters a lot. And I think that last year she told us, like, yo, my knee was barking all year essentially, and then I got some rest and treatment in the off season. Like I'm good now. Like I feel ready. Year 2 here, I feel more comfortable and confident in my place here. Stuff like that that aren't immediately on the court, but you bring it to the court with you. It matters a lot. And I think for Burke in particular, being able to guard these fours and really do a good job in that way is so meaningful. And I think this week is going to be, I think we'll see a good amount of KB this week because Thursday night, she's gonna be one of the players tagging it with Reese on the boards, and Reese is already I would say the best rebounder in basketball. So having a player like that who's going to be able to body up and really make things hard and challenging is going to be so meaningful for this team. And then Saturday, Tosh Howard is almost like a Swiss Army knife in a lot of ways. So having a player like a Burke who can make things challenging for her on that end too is going to be meaningful and matter. So for New York, Burke's versatility and reliability is going to be key. And I think Sandy recognizes that, and then KB's ability and willingness to just continue driving to the basket, putting that pressure with the ball in their hands, like that's going to be a huge deal. And I think it's going to be, I think her sort of role this season is going to be critical to this team.
I agree. I mean, there's so many pieces. It's really fantastic to see. It was a fun game Saturday. I think it's a good, not necessarily test, but a good tune-up is what I'll say. You know, every once in a while, I gotta get the oil change, make sure that the brakes still work, all that stuff. Yes, Phoebish did miss training camp. She's only had one practice, as I should say, leading up to Saturday. Leo had one practice with the team. So yeah, still getting acclimated. But that's why I think it was just kind of give her a tough, hard-nosed defensive assignment. And then, I mean, she scored 2 points, but she didn't need to score more. But
something like that.
Yeah. But when Leo is a part of the schemes, and that's what Sandy talked about, you know, because I asked about Leo. I missed it, y'all, because Lucas was going off about this. The press conference was a dang half hour. It was 30 dang minutes. Everybody want to talk to the champ. The champ is here. The champ is here. Let's go. Everybody wanted to say something. So I don't even know what half the questions are. I haven't gotten through the whole 30 minutes. I scrubbed through it for my story just to get some things out real quick. So I don't even know if anyone else asked about Leo. You'd have to tell me, Brian.
I think you was the last question. I think you was the one who asked about Leo.
I was. I'm like, in 30 minutes, ain't nobody asking about this child. She picked up from minute 0. Chelsea Gray full court. How come ain't nobody asking about Leo? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like off the plane, one half of practice, and she's picking up full court as a starter. What do you mean? On the point guard.
Oh man.
He asked about Leo. I was like, and I was like, yo, Sandy, I'm sorry if somebody asked you this, but I'm gonna get my questions in, you know? Like, come on. But you know, I love defense. So I was like, no, Leo picking up full court. Like, let's go.
Oh man,
this ring don't mean a thing if I ain't got 2. Let's go. Leo was ready. Oh, absolutely not. Like, sis was so dialed in defensively because that's what she could give. That's that Stewie that we talk about, right?
Yeah.
People wanted to clown Stewie. Her 3-point shot wasn't there. Baka baka ba. She was ruining Angel Reese for most of that game in New York. Like Angel Reese was nowhere to be found for a long time because Stewie was locking it down defensively. And Leo has that. Like she can get. I got to talk to her about this because I want to know. I want to know what's going through her head because that was wild to me. Having her pick up Chelsea Gray, they was like, what you not gonna do is do some of these crazy passes, and then because she does her little thing when she want to celebrate with her shoulder. She's like, we're not doing that on this court no more.
Not today.
Banished is your little celebration.
Yeah, I will say before we move on and start wrapping up here, I really want to see what Vegas looks like next time we see them because new guard number 24. I want to see what you're working with. I want to see how the team gets you going because I was telling people, I'm like, it feels like she's barely here, and which is a testament to what Liberty were doing, but also a testament of hey, how about we shiny new shooting guard? Let's see how we really get it going here. But day one, fine tune some things. We will see in a few months.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Leo's size is insane. Like for what she can do, it's just she's a cheat code. She's a cheat code. If I played video games, I would put Leo on any team that I have. It could be football, it could be volleyball, it could be European football or football. Leo's on my squad. I don't care. She's on my squad. Period. What can she not do? I remember, what game was it where she went up for the rebound and then it got tangled up with other people, the opponents, maybe even some of her teammates. And then this chick, I almost got too excited there. I can't be cursing on my own podcast. I don't like to get too familiar. This woman grabbed the ball like it was a weighted ball and got into a deep squat and just held on to it. I was like, what are you doing? She's such a beast. Like she's deceptively strong. Because she's long, she gets up the court quick like Stewie. I mean, like cheat code, I don't know what to say. Yeah, so we didn't even see the best of this Liberty squad, and they look pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm.
They look pretty dang good. So, I mean, I don't want to sound ridiculous, and I don't think I will, but the best is yet to come. This is game one. The best is yet to come. I'm just so excited. I'm excited for this squad. I really am. See, Ghost gets it. Hype for this season. So, all right, Brian, we know we got a newsletter coming up.
Yes.
We got some games. We have Tempestagia Talk coming up on Thursday. We go live on Thursday. But what else? Let the folks know where they can find you, what you're excited about that you got cooking.
Yes, I did a story this morning for Nets Daily on the weekend, the Liberty's championship ceremony, their time at Yankee Stadium on Sunday night. I've got some other stuff coming this week. I'm gonna try to head out to practice tomorrow, see if I can get some sound before the Liberty hit the road for a few days. I'll have some video for the local W if I'm able to make it happen. I'm gonna try to do some other stories. I want to probably cut some video clips if I can sometime this week. There's like some really good story ideas I have in mind. But, you find me with the newsletter. I'm excited for what's coming out tomorrow. Got a fun little mix going. And I threw something in that I saw late this afternoon into it. So it's going to be a nice little extra plus treat. Got plenty of good stuff coming. A lot of good basketball on deck. I'm excited.
For sure. And again, you can check out our newsletter is the Women's Basketball Roundup, or we say sometimes the WBB Roundup. So we're excited for that. Have Tuesdays and usually Thursdays as well. And then, of course, I will be in Indiana. So I'm super excited for that. My first trip out there, I'm going to go to Tease Me. I'm going to hang out with the Chris. One of the Chris's. So that'll be a good time. And, we've got some other things cooking that we will let y'all know about. Not in the shadows. In the shadows. But thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Gotta Get Up, a podcast for New York Liberty fans. You can find us on Monday nights right here on the YouTube, blackrosiemedia.com. Of course, you can check out as well. And for Brian Fleurantin, Erica L. Ayala, reminding you there's only one thing left to do, and we wave. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night.